Hi, my name is Paragul Azimi, and this is my COM24 6th term project for winter 2025. The name of my web application is Faragul's Recipe Hub. It basically allows the users to search for recipes using a public API that I'm using called the MealDB, and they can save their favorite recipes to a personal list. This application also includes functionality to reorder and remove recipes, and also it supports real-time updates so that it shows it right away using WebSockets. This app has two types of users. One is guest and one is admin. And the admin has the privilege to see all of the users and the recipes they have saved. So I'm going to start up my user, and then we're going to go to the link. So this is the registration page. And here I'm going to start by registering just a random user, test user as an example, and here we registered it. So I'm using this using a JavaScript file that I wrote, authorization.javascript. It basically uses a fetch to send a request to the register route with the form data, which I'm going to show to you later. But now I'm going to sign in with my admin user. So here it is. This is logged in, and the only difference between admin and guest is that there is this view all users button that I'm going to show you later. So at first, I'm just going to show you the web page. Here it is, the save recipes that the user saved before, and I'm going to search one more thing. And here are all the search results, and I'm going to save this, and as you can see, it's updated right away. You can move up the recipe or you can move it down. And then one more thing is that you can also open a recipe to see the details. And this does change the URL, but it is basically still a single page web application. So here, if we go to the view all users, you can see a list of users that are there. And this is, for example, the test users we just saved, but they have no recipes saved. But for example, the Faragul user who is a guest has breakfast potatoes and grilled eggplant. So I'm just going to go to back to the app and log in with Faragul to add something, just to see if it updates in that page. So here it is, Faragul, and let's remove the grilled eggplant, and then let's add something with a tomato. For example, the lamb tomato recipe. And just to show you while we're here, if Faragul, which is a guest, tries to go to the users page, it's going to say not an admin or invalid session. I'm going to be logging back with my admin user. And just to show you, if the user puts the wrong password, it's not going to work. So here it is, and we go to the users again and we search for Faragul, and yes, as you can see, it has been updated with the new recipe that Faragul has saved. So here is basically just a demo of my code, and on the other hand, we're going to start showing you the code. So basically my server.js is the main server file. I imported Express, SQLite 3, and Path, and other modules that I'm using throughout the app. And here it is. And as we go down, we can see that sessions are stored in memory using a plain JavaScript object. And then there are cookies that help parsing and ensuring routes. And there is like a user registration handling here that is being done. There is also, these are all for registrations and different users and how they can also log out. There was a button in the page for that. And so I am using a handlebar for admin. So basically this handlebar helps with the template that shows the user list and their saved recipes. And as you can see, the server is listening on port 3000. So the other file, it would be the index.html. This is just the main front-end HTML structures. It defines a layout of a single-page application. It has the login session, a login part of the main page. It has registration, and then when a user logs in, it shows the save recipes and the search UI. And there is also this part that basically shows when we use the open recipe button to see the details of a recipe. The two JavaScript files that I'm using is authorization and main, which I'm going to explain in a second. So this authorization file, basically what it does is that it shows the registered users and login users. It sends the credentials to the server using fetch, and if the login is successful, a session cookie is set. It also clears the session and updates the UI, and depending on a role, which is here, if it's an admin or if it's just a guest, the difference it makes is the welcome message in the web page, and if it is an admin, it's going to have a button with view all of the users there. So the other JavaScript file that I have is my main file. So basically the script handles all of the recipe actions. If it's searching, saving, reordering, and removing or opening a recipe. And this function queries the MuleDB public API that I'm using and renders the results dynamically. If it cannot find something, it just shows that it can't find it. Also, you can like order the recipes with move up, move down, or remove a recipe. And you can also like open the details of the recipe. So that's the other thing it does too. And yeah, so here is the public API that I'm using. So the next file would be the database file. Basically what I'm doing in this is that I use the SQL for the users table that stores the usernames, passwords, and roles, and also save recipe tables hold all of the recipes for the recipe data for each of the users. And the other file to show you is the admin users handlebar. So this is rendered by the users route, and it loops through each of the users and show them the roles and titles and the save recipe. This is basically for when you are an admin user and you use the view users button. And this handlebar doesn't use any HTML. So the other thing is just my styling file, which is using CSS, and it's just making it to look cleaner and more readable. And this is my web application, and thank you so much for listening to me and watching my video, and I hope you have a great day.